So I recorded without audio that entire video. What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of a Tech once again, and welcome back to yet another Talking Head video. Today we're going to be discussing the impact of the new infrastructure bill proposed in the United States on cryptocurrency in general, and we're going to discuss why you should consider moving all of your cryptocurrency assets off of centralized platforms and into private wallets with private keys that you control yourself. Yes, we always say that you should control the private keys, and if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. That being said, a lot of people do have basically funds in centralized exchanges, and anybody new to the industry is more likely to have a certain amount of funds in some sort of centralized service. We're going to talk about why that's important right after a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is myself. To support the channel, click the join button below the video and you will get access to our privately hosted Rocket Chat. Selecting the $1.99 option will get you access, and after that you need to head over to the membership tab, scroll down, and expand out your membership perks. Find the section for connecting on social media, and in that section there will be a secret registration URL to join Rocket Chat, where you can sign up to enjoy talking with other cryptocurrency enthusiasts and miners without spammers, scammers, or bots. Welcome back. So let's go over a little bit of the news that is just breaking now. There was an infrastructure bill that was proposed by the new administration. It's bipartisan, meaning both parties. For those that aren't aware or not from the United States, it means both political parties in the United States, the Republicans and the Democrats, generally agree on this particular bill, meaning that it is more likely to pass through, of course, all of the checks and balances that are put in place in the U.S. government. That being said, they last minute added in some addendums, I suppose, some extra language revolving around cryptocurrency itself. And that is where we run into the issue of big, fast, last-minute changes happening to the cryptocurrency industry. So if we take a look at the article from CoinDesk, it says new infrastructure bill looks to raise $30 billion through crypto taxes. The draft language could mean a number of individuals interacting with crypto may have to start reporting their transactions. See, this is not anything really new. You're supposed to report it. Even if you're mining, you have to pay, you get double hit. You have to pay income taxes when you mine it on the day you mined it, and you have to pay capital gains taxes if you were to hold it past the day you mined it and it went up in value. There's short-term gains, there's long-term gains. We've talked about this in our taxes video. Should you be reporting your taxes? Yes, I'm not condoning that you don't report your taxes, and that's not the point of the video. You'll see here in a second. But this is going to be pretty significant as far as who it impacts. So according to a draft copy of the bill shared with CoinDesk, any broker that transfers any digital assets would need to file a return under a modified information reporting regime. The draft defined digital assets as any digital representation of value recorded on a cryptographically secured distributed ledger or related technology. It also includes decentralized exchanges and peer-to-peer marketplaces in its definitions of brokers. A separate summary of the bill further clarified that cryptocurrencies are treated as a subsection of the broader digital asset umbrella. So a big issue here is, well, how are they going to enforce it, right? Especially when we're talking about like decentralized exchanges, proving where the connection came from, if it was a US citizen or if it was not, and how invasive they would have to get to actually audit every single decentralized transaction, whether that be peer-to-peer or some form of liquidity farming on Ethereum, for example. How invasive does it get? And how much does that invasiveness violate the rights of US citizens? So a big point that's being brought up is essentially if you started to enforce pretty much or figure out how to audit things like decentralized exchanges and, hardware wallets, you would end up in a case where you would be violating the US Constitution, specifically the Fourth Amendment, which I do have pulled up here for you. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause. Supported by OAuth or OAuth. That's how you know I'm an IT guy, by the way. I immediately think oath is OAuth. There we go. Supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So if you read this, essentially, the right is that they would have to have some sort of probable cause to go in and audit an individual, or of course a decentralized exchange, and so on. So they would essentially have to go through and figure out all the wallet addresses, confirm they're United States citizens or whatever that is, then go through and get a warrant to basically seize said digital assets and so on. And that would be outside of that if they were just trying to audit decentralized exchanges without the approval of some sort of warrant for probable cause, then it would violate this right. But as we know recently, it doesn't really appear that anything digitally adheres to anything constitutional in the United States anymore, including the freedom of speech and, of course, privacy. So I don't know that this argument in particular holds any water in this case, just based off of recent events and how everything else is being handled, right? So let's just hop into some more of this. We'll go over a couple more definitions, but the provision includes updating the definition of broker to reflect the realities of how digital assets are acquired and traded, the document said. The provision further makes clear that broker-to-broker reporting applies to all transfers of covered securities within the meaning of the section that we read before, including digital assets. They do say this could bring $30 billion into the bill's pay-fors, according to the fact sheet also shared with CoinDesk. So CoinDesk doesn't have this fact sheet listed. CoinDesk also doesn't have the draft listed. I can't find it. When you guys find it, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be trying to pick through this, and we'll have to do a whole video on what the actual draft is, specifically, including, of course, all of the details within the fact sheet. So I don't want to make this video necessarily about the infrastructure bill or the relation to crypto and that whole segment, because we just don't have all the data yet. But it's important to understand that what this does mean is significant changes to centralized options right now. And so we've already talked about a little bit about the violation of the Fourth Amendment, possibly, and that whole argument. But from my perspective, what you should be concerned with is going to be the immediate impact on centralized solutions. You see, here's the deal. If you control your private keys, then you control your crypto. Not your keys, not your crypto. We've talked about this before. And because of that, that's immutable and on the blockchain forever. Nobody can take that away or seize that from you. And in the case of centralized exchanges or services, things including NiceHash, Crypto.com, Coinbase, BlockFi, all of these centralized solutions, in the case of those entities have control and complete control of all of the cryptocurrency that is within them. Meaning that if you have cryptocurrency in any of these services, that you are at risk to losing them either to the service or to the government, etc. The big problem here is not necessarily that you would be losing taxes and they're just going to pull taxes out of your crypto and send it to the federal government. The big issue is that this is all last minute, meaning that we've put basically all of the developers for all these centralized solutions on their heels, meaning that they are, well, probably likely to fall over backwards trying to implement all of the KYC that will be covered here. So I also want to make sure that we defined KYC for you guys, because I know it's a term that gets thrown around a lot. And KYC stands for Know Your Customer, or in some cases, Know Your Client. It is a process by which a business or agency verifies the identity of its clients. The process is mandatory for banks, lenders, insurance providers, and other financial and monetary companies of all sizes. So KYC just means that you are fully identified within their system. Most centralized exchanges already have this applied, right? Your crypto.coms, your Coinbase, and etc. Right? I don't think NiceHash necessarily yet, but they probably will have to actually do KYC here upcoming if I understand what the implications of this are and how it affects miners as well. It's going to be basically required for all of these centralized services. However, they also are going to have to make sure that they have reporting systems in place for all of the transactions that are being done on the website, and that it's easily attainable and extractable to send. And maybe they have these implemented, but in most cases, I think that there will be changes that have to be done to them to basically make it possible and easy, also easy for the users to go ahead and report, because the way the taxes work in the US is we don't know what you owe. You tell us what you owe, but if you're wrong, you go to prison. That's how it works in the US, in case anyone was wondering. So it can be very difficult, and so all of these things got to fall into place for that. But during that time, when all of these changes are being made to centralized solutions, you risk losing your cryptocurrency in the process of all of these things being implemented and the changes being made. And that's because you don't have control of the private keys and it's not immutable. Sure, on their master wallets or whatever, it's immutable. But the systems within the cryptocurrency exchanges, they're centralized, and services, they're not, right? So if you log into crypto.com one day and your $1,000 is missing, well, technically there's not much you can do. There's no recourse for that, right? So if they mess something up in their code, if they accidentally get hacked, or if just by process of implementing something, they introduce a bug or whatever it is, then you end up losing those funds. And that's why I say that you really should be moving your cryptocurrency to some sort of hardware wallet, preferably, and then maybe at least just a hot wallet if that's what you want to do. Things like MetaMask, being careful, of course, for rotten seeds that we've talked about in the past. On the hardware side, you have Trezors and Ledgers. Ledgers technically have KYC in some cases. Obviously, they leaked a lot of users' data. For a while, you had to register them. That's why I lean more towards Trezor, because there's no KYC. There's no hint of KYC right in there. So you can have that wallet. It doesn't have to be linked to your identity at all. You can move all of your crypto over to it, and then you control the private keys. Of course, paper wallet for cold storage, where you generate a wallet with some code online and then write it down on a piece of paper and store it away in a safe, is typically traditionally the safest, or basically the most secure in a lot of people's opinions. I'll leave that up to you. The things that we needed to go over though today, just to make you guys aware, is that there are a lot of hacked wallets on Amazon. And so what I mean by hacked wallets is what's happening is essentially people will buy the Ledgers or the Trezors, and they'll buy a big bunch of them, and they will compromise the hardware in some way or preload a key in some way and then resell them on Amazon. So my suggestion, under no circumstances should you purchase a hardware wallet unless it is sold by the official company that creates it. For example, the Ledger official here. Check reviews, make sure it's all going through properly, because if you buy a compromised hardware wallet, you can lose all of your funds. A quick way, one of the most common attacks, is already having a pre-generated seed sent with the hardware wallet. So what would happen is you would get essentially your Ledger or Nano. It would come with instructions. The instructions actually do look professional that people have been sending with them. They'll say, okay, here's how you set it up. Plug in your Ledger, type in these words and into the recovery seed. That is what you want to avoid. If it gives you a pre-generated recovery seed, that is a bad hardware wallet that came from a compromised company. So don't do that. Now, your best bet for Trezor especially is going to currently be purchasing directly through the Trezor website. It's going to take longer to get to you. I do have an affiliate link. I don't post the affiliate link a lot, but in this case, I will be posting the affiliate link for the Trezor down in the comment section below. That will link you directly to the Trezor website. And in return, I believe I get 12% of the sale, which is probably, yes, more than I would on Amazon, which is 6%. And I am just basically telling you guys exactly what all of that would be. As you can see, I have made no money on my affiliation with Trezor. So, and very little affiliation dollars on anything else, even Amazon. So, but to be clear, I want to make sure you guys are fully aware of where that's coming from. So once again, wrapping this up, we have a lot of kind of ham-fisted last minute regulations to cryptocurrency being wrapped into other bills that were already bipartisan. And because of that, what you're going to see is huge shifts within the cryptocurrency markets, and especially the centralized ones. And because of that, you want to move everything off of there until the dust settles, at least a bulk majority of your cryptocurrency, so you don't end up in a situation where somebody programs something wrong or messes something up, or even just goes out of business, which is a big thing that we should talk about too. A lot of the cryptocurrency companies that are based in the US may go out of business based on the tax burdens that are being implemented. So if you're on crypto.com, Coinbase, NiceHash, etc., right? BlockFi, it is possible that these companies are not able to cash flow positive and go out of business. If they go out of business while you have cryptocurrency in their system, it is possible you lose it. So there's another reason why you want to go ahead and secure a bulk of your cryptocurrency in a wallet that you control the private keys to. This is very important. We haven't talked about it in a couple months, so I want to make sure that we address this topic as much as possible. Once again, I need more data personally for myself to go over and get you guys caught up on the details of this particular draft, as well as the details of the fact sheet. As soon as I have access to both of those, we will review the actual laws and discuss on basically whether or not the accusations according to the Fourth Amendment violations are correct and how all that works out. I'm not willing to make a statement on that at this point because I am not knowledgeable enough on it. I've just given you guys the basic premise of what I see going on, and then giving you guys kind of my warning of why I think you should be very careful with your funds right now as it pertains to centralized solutions. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next Tuesday. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to see more. Also, you can check out this playlist for more content talking about cryptocurrency.